Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we'll be talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and how he stunned the entire political universe yesterday with an ad with a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl. Nationwide. If you saw it and you thought it was just in your local area, you would be wrong. It was nationwide. So before we talk about it at all, let's get a look at it. Here it is.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through? A man who's old enough to know and young enough to do? Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
American Value 2024 is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
So, obviously a very cool ad for us who follow politics. If you don't know, it looks retro and old-timey because this was actually a John F. Kennedy ad from 1960, and RFK Jr. just put his face, over where JFK's face would have gone. So, very cool idea. I don't think that a whole ton of people know that this was a JFK ad, even though this JFK ad is one of the most well known and popular in American history, if not the most popular and well known. Most people don't care or really follow historical politics at all. So, um, but cool idea. Probably smart not having his voice in it for obvious reasons, but it does do what I think that they were aiming at, which is kind of getting kind of letting people know that there is an option besides Trump and Biden, and I think and in that sense, it would be extremely successful. I mean, for the average American, it was probably pretty cool yesterday seeing a nationwide commercial that's actually, like cool looking and catchy and retro, and it's awesome. It was probably cool seeing that ad for, someone other than Trump and Biden. There are other choices. It says vote independent clearly right there with him skiing, so he's an independent, and or not the vast, but the majority of Americans, the plurality of Americans are registered independent, and most do want to see an independent or third party president. So that I think is said a couple times, at least two or three. I think that would be, yeah, there it is for the second time. That would be very refreshing for a lot of people. Vote independent, vote for Kennedy, someone other than Trump and Biden. You've got that Kennedy name, you've got that retro feel to it, connecting back to JFK and RFK, and it was probably pretty successful in a lot of senses. I personally think that they could have done it better. I mean, that would mean, completely scrapping the entire idea of using this 1960 JFK commercial. I think that he could have done one more he had one called Fed Up before that didn't run nationally, but in just a couple swing states. And, and, it talks how, it's like what's the word? Oh, I forgot the word, but a bunch of clips from like the media, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, and people arguing and just showing the partisanship. And RFK Jr. talks how he's an independent and whatever. He only says like a couple words, but he says, "Fed up? Yeah, me too. Vote independent. Vote Kennedy for president." So this could have gone a couple ways. This nationwide commercial, but this route, going the 1960 JFK ad, is definitely going to get you more attention, I think. Lots of more media coverage. I mean, it is a pretty cool commercial. I mean, nothing like any other Super Bowl commercial on TV last night. I mean, this looks old. They got this down right with the images. They look like they're really, I mean, the quality and color of the images looks like they're straight from 1960, and it all works out great. So, and got that JFK RFK connection back, to the Kennedy family. But one big thing is this was from American Values. You might have heard it at the end there. This is a super PAC that supports Kennedy's campaign, paid for by American Values 2024, not authorized by any candidate or his committee. American Values 2024 is responsible for the contents of this ad. So this was not from the Kennedy campaign, mind you. This is from his super PAC, American Values, who has been extremely involved in his campaign. American Values is probably the super PAC that is most involved in any campaign. For dropped out candidates um, or whatever. Or candidates who are still in the race. American Values is so involved in obviously advertisements, as you can see. This cost $7 million, and they did this. It was a huge surprise, by the way, but we'll get to that. But most importantly, ballot access. They are so involved in RFK Jr.'s ballot access, and they actually got sued recently by the DNC for, super PAC shouldn't be too involved in presidential campaigns that they support. And American Values going out and getting signatures to get RFK on the ballot. The DNC sued them for that because they think that American Values is too involved. But they did get this ad out, and that just goes to show how involved they have been. They spent $7 million on this ad. Now, what I think is super cool is that it was a huge surprise. No one was really expecting this ad at all. RFK had not talked about, stay tuned for an ad during the Super Bowl for me. American Values had not said anything about a nationwide $7 million ad. And whatever, we had heard no word of this. And people were shocked when it happened, and it was super cool. They kept it a secret, and therefore it was such a surprise, actually, when it aired, that it got RFK Jr. trending all over social media and everything, and it really caught people off guard, and it became really popular really quick and got a lot of attention, so that definitely worked in his favor. Now, this cost $7 million, as I mentioned, for one single 30-second ad. Campaigns might, spend that over for ads. They buy commercials from a network for, over a period of time. It's usually not for one single 30-second ad, but I think that this was smart. During the Super Bowl, literally, like, everybody is watching, and now, as I was talking about, everyone knows that there is an independent candidate in this race. Everyone knows that they doesn't even say Robert F. Kennedy Jr., just says Kennedy, but they know someone named Kennedy is running for president. I don't have it up, but his Google search results, for how many people were searching for this Kennedy guy, skyrocketed right after the commercial aired. So you can see that it was very critical in helping RFK Jr. with name recognition and people, acknowledging that he is even in the race, which is the first step for an independent, not very well known person like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But during the Super Bowl, so smart, probably better than like having multiple ads run in a handful of states and spending that same amount of money. So yeah, pretty cool ad. But as I was talking about with his with getting his name out there, he is the most liked or politician, like major politician right now in this country, which is insane. He is, and by a lot when you consider the favorable versus unfavorable ratio. 45% of Americans view him as favorable. He is tied with Trump for that, and he leads. When you go down to the decimals, he leads over Trump according to this YouGov poll. So that is really spectacular, I think, for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That just shows you the unpopularity of partisan politics in this country. There's only one independent on this list besides Liz Cheney, but she's basically still a Republican and super conservative, and that being Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he is the most favorable, very or somewhat favorable, of all the major politicians in this country. That's 45% to only 34% who view him as unfavorable. And then you come to that critical 20% who don't know, and that is a signal of RFK Jr.'s lack of name recognition in this country. 20% who have no opinion is a lot. I mean, if everyone knows a politician in this country, that being Donald Trump and Joe Biden, you can see only 5 and 4% don't know. That makes sense. But if it's 20% who don't know, that means you're not very well known. So this ad absolutely helps with that. And people, I mean, right off the bat, when they hear the name Kennedy after this ad, they'll have a pretty favorable opinion of him. And looking at the 2024 race, he definitely has an opportunity to shine. He, on average, is polling at 16.8%, which is enough to get into the presidential debates. I mean, it would be a lot more if this Reuters poll wasn't included. It's 16, 22, and 21. And then 8. 8 drags the average down so much. But if you average the 21, 22, and 16, what is that, like 19 or something? Or maybe even 20. So he is kind of well above right now the threshold to get into presidential debates if they happen. I'm going to make a video on that soon. But it is looking unlikely that Biden would debate, but I could see Trump debating Kennedy because he has been on the attack, on Kennedy lately. Trump has been, so that could be interesting, but it won't be a good viewed debate if the Democrat and Republican aren't there. So Kennedy is polling well. I mean, so high for an independent. I mean, if he of the 21, 22, and 16 from Harvard, Harris, Quinnipiac, and Rasmussen, he would be at about 19 or 20%. That's more than Ross Perot got in 1992, and Ross Perot is famous for that 20% victory. I'm pretty sure that is more, that 20% is more than George Wallace was able to get in 1968. I may be wrong on that. And I think that would be the highest since, vote totals since Teddy Roosevelt, actually, in the 1912 election when he ran as a progressive. So the point is, Kennedy is polling already amazingly well for an independent, but if he has the money, he should run more ads like this, cool ads, tying him back to his family. But even though, you got this, his family apparently and a lot of people were quote unquote offended by this ad because whatever, they think that it's disrespectful to JFK. I mean, RFK defended himself by saying that it was from his super PAC, American Values, and that he wasn't involved in it at all. Since campaigns can't have, can't correlate with super PACs, according to election rules and stuff. I mean, I don't think the average American cares at all. That's just like people on social media trying to downplay the effect of this ad. But even though a little 30-second ad, I think it could be very useful for the Kennedy campaign, and his poll numbers might really increase just because of that one ad. I think that Americans unhappy with Trump and Biden, that vote independent, seeing him, this new guy, I think that they really could, shift towards Kennedy, towards supporting Kennedy in 2024. And he might actually get somewhere with this ad. Also, the senior vote, I just want to add one more thing. Because we know Kennedy has the youth vote already, right? Right? He has among 18 to 35-year-olds, I think. Kennedy leads, which is incredible. He leads among 18 to 35-year-olds in the New York Times Siena College poll. And he consistently does very well among young voters, either winning them or coming very close to winning them. So we know he has the young voters. I mean, even though they disagree with a lot of what he says, some of the stuff they feel is very spot on and no one else is talking about it. Housing, freedoms, etc. But what he does have to get, and consistently for some reason, even though his last name is Kennedy, he consistently does the worst Among older voters, senior citizens, they don't like him because of his views on vaccines. And, they're very, um, bleak, not colorful when it comes to their political views, and that is because they get all their news from the mainstream media, who completely just bashed Kennedy. They say, what he says is uncredible, and so they are naturally going to have a very negative opinion on Kennedy. And this, you know, older voters who might even remember the JFK commercial, that could definitely help his numbers among older voters. So we'll see where that goes. Look at that, 45,000 likes. That's insane. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a comment if you enjoyed also. And I will see you all next time.